Hello, 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 and welcome to this week's Marketing Live Marketing Live. Can we start that again? This is carrying on from last week where we had several bloopers and we each forgot what we were talking about. So let me start again. Hello and welcome to this week's Marketing, Branding and Getting the Sales show. Yay, I managed to get it out. So today we are talking about expanding your comfort zone. Why do you need to do it? How do you do it? What's the point of it all? We're going to be talking about that today. So before we dive into that though, let's do some quick introductions. Jess, you're on.
Morning, everyone. Something that I looked at the other day, that more than half of small businesses in the UK don't know how to market the business. So I wanted you guys to know that if you feel overwhelmed, frustrated, that you've got this amazing product, but you don't quite know how to get it in front of people, that you're definitely not alone. But that's the sort of stuff that I help my clients with. I make sure I take away the headache of what you need to present your product, what your brand needs, what your message is, how does it look. So if you're a bit more curious about that, drop me a message. I have a quick video explaining a 6-step process that I take my clients through.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Jess. Stephen, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Lerman from Chameleon BDS. If you are stepping outside of your comfort zone, quite topical, and don't like making phone calls to get yourself in front of potential new clients, then I am here to help. So I can help you prospect for new business, cold call, and get in front of those new clients, make appointments, and hopefully grow your business.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Jess and Stephen. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Una Doyle. I'm a business strategist and coach. I'm a business creative flow. And I love to help creative, ambitious, small and medium-sized business owners to be able to build a business that they could sell tomorrow, but probably don't want to because it's fun to run, because they and their team members are in creative flow, because it's highly profitable and they get to make a bigger impact in the world. Now, if you want to know how you can double your profits, then comment below or send me a message with double your profits and I'll send you a video showing you how you can do that. Okay, so on to today's topic, which is all about why do you need to expand your comfort zone? Well, what do we mean by comfort zone? Well, it's that place where things are comfortable, they're easy, you have certainty, you know what you're doing, you kind of have expectations that are met, because it's all very standard, business as usual, and there's no change. You have the status quo, right? So let me ask you a question, Jess. How do you feel when you're in your comfort zone?
I've got to a point where I kind of recognize it now. I used to love my comfort zone. I used to absolutely love it. I never wanted to step out of it. Even sometimes now in certain things, it's tricky to step out of it. But now I kind of see my comfort zone as a bit like, okay, I've been here too long. I'm feeling like, okay, I want that next step. When I start to feel a bit lost, especially with the direction I'm going in, my planning and things like that, I feel a bit kind of like I'm churning away each day with the same tasks. That's when I recognize I'm in my comfort zone and I think, okay, I need to do something. I want to do something to just push into that next step, or else I'm just constantly going around in the circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, is that in your comfort zone, there's no change, which means there's no growth, right? And this is the thing, is that growth often is challenging. I got a great quote here, actually. By a lady called Annette White. Each time you try something for the first time, you will grow. A little piece of the fear of the unknown is removed and replaced with a sense of empowerment. And I love that, because I think that just really sums up what can happen when you actually focus on growth instead of staying in your comfort zone. It's actually about expanding that comfort zone. But there are very legitimate reasons why people don't do it. Stephen, how does it feel for you when you are stepping outside of your comfort zone?
You know what? I love the challenge of stepping outside, because I get bored. If I'm there for too long, I get bored. I'm not challenging myself. I'm not pushing myself, because I know I'm capable of more. And all, ever since growing up, I've always been told, you are capable. You may be a little bit too complacent, too comfortable there where it's safe, and but now, as I've got older, I thought, you know what? I want to push myself. A classic example of that is making these LinkedIn videos that I post. It's at the very beginning, I'm thinking, oh my God, no, I absolutely don't want to do it. I hate it. I keep thinking I'm making mistakes. And you and I have talked about this in the past about just going with the flow and, making mistakes. It makes you normal. You appear normal. It's real life. And now I love it because I feel so much more. I feel empowered by doing stuff. I really do. I love stepping outside my comfort zone. I get a bit of a kick out of it, I must admit.
Fantastic. And I'm pretty much the same, but it hasn't always been that way. And I'd love to know, when you're watching this now, whether you're watching live or you're catching us on the replay later, how do you feel when you step outside your comfort zone? Because, for a lot of people, it can be very fearful. There can be a real resistance to doing that. Because for many people, the fear of the unknown is all consuming. And unfortunately, it prevents them from expanding their comfort zone, and getting the benefits that happen when you do that. So what are you missing out on when you don't expand your comfort zone? When you miss out on personal growth, but you also miss out on opportunities. And if everything stays the same, then, as Stephen says, you can get bored. You can really get into a rut. And that can be a problem if you feel, that you're in that rut. That's a clear signal for you that it's time to step outside your comfort zone once again. So how do you feel when you step outside your comfort zone? Is it exciting, like Steve's talking about? Is it fearful, or does it depend on the context? It may well do. But I want to talk about something that I call the elastic band effect. And in fact, here we go. Haha, I have a hair thing here that I can use to demonstrate. So sometimes what I have seen people do is they'll do some kind of a challenge. So it might be, I'm going to go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro, or I'm going to jump out of an airplane, or, as I have done actually, go to a Tony Robbins event and walk across hot coals, and that can be fantastic. And people in that moment, once they've achieved that goal, they can feel amazing. And so it's like taking their comfort zone, and they do something huge. So it's like really going, like stretching it all the way, very much outside the comfort zone. But what happens as soon as that event is finished? It snaps back into place. And they haven't actually necessarily really expanded their comfort zone. It was just temporary. It was a temporary stretch. And so, let me know, have you, in the comments, have you ever experienced this, where you thought, wow, my life is going to change, my business is going to change as a result of me doing X, Y, Z, but then things return to normal? So have you ever experienced that, Jess or Stephen?
Yeah, sorry, Jess. I have, if you're going to try something outside your comfort zone, you've got to keep going. You can't just do it the one time. And what I would suggest, and I might be wrong, but this is how I would do it, is bite-sized chunks. So you get used to getting outside your comfort zone rather than jumping in with both feet. Now, sometimes that can be good, jumping in with both feet, but other times it might be, if you've constantly lived in that comfort zone, do it in, little wins, yeah, and then that becomes a little bit more normal, and then go big. So start small and then go big, and then that elastic snap back won't be as strong. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. What about you, Jess? Have you ever had that kind of snap effect?
I get it all the time when I read a book. The more often than not, it's when I read a book. A business development, personal development book, and I'll read it and I'll think, this is the best book ever. I'm gonna implement all these things. I can see how this is gonna work, and then I'll either stop listening to it and move on to another book, or I'll put the book down. I draw in my books, especially my work and business development ones. I think some people are like, no, I don't know what you're doing, but I do love to like draw, and I know I love to like highlight stuff and all sorts of things. So I'll do all that, but then I'll just close it and kind of don't come back to it again. So that more often than not, it happens to me when I read a good book. But like you said, Stephen, it's some small habits, isn't it, and habit changing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I love to do 90-day plans with my clients because they can take that idea, that concept, that strategy that we've discussed or they've come across somewhere, and we can implement it in a way that's, number one, they're being held accountable, and number two, they actually get to monitor, to review the results, the outcomes, and see, well, how well does this work? Does it need some tinkering and tweaking? Is this right? And so, yeah, I see this happening a lot for people, so Chris is just saying, completely understand, and good morning, Chris. I completely understand and have obviously experienced the fear of the unknown and change. We have to take the steps to develop, learn, and improve. Completing something new and gaining a new skill makes me feel accomplished and glad I took the risk. Absolutely. I think people do. Really, one of the things that I want for, the small and medium-sized business owners that I speak with and that I work with is for them to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you can adopt that as a motto, as a way of life, then, oh my God, there are so many positive things on the other side of that. Just think about it, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because for all of us, like even me, after so many years of personal growth and mindset shifts, that I still have moments where I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Typically, because I've done all this foundational groundwork, it doesn't last too long. It might only be a few minutes or a few hours. It's rare it'd be more than that, to be honest. But it's, as I'm up leveling my mindset and my goals and my practices, my habits, as Jess was talking about, then there can be that kind of okay, let me go for this. But I've very much taken it as that feeling of uncomfortableness I associate with positivity, not negativity. I think that's really key, and part of that is because you've got to look at, do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? And unfortunately, the way a lot of people are brought up is that they have a very fixed mindset. So what I mean by that is that they actually underneath they have this underlying belief that they can't change, that their life can't change, that their business can't change, that their relationships can't change, that this is just the way things are. It's fixed. Whereas a growth mindset comes from the approach of, well, yeah, absolutely, we can change. And the amazing thing is that science now backs this up. Our brains have what they call neuroplasticity. So the pathways that we create, so say you've got little Johnny, and little Johnny stands up to read in class, stumbles over some words, kind of a bit like my intro today, and everyone in the class laughs at him, and he gets embarrassed, and then they tease him because he's gone all red, and the teacher doesn't really handle it very well. And so Johnny, for the rest of his life, believes, I can't do public speaking, right? Just as an example, that might be one thing. Or I'm not going to put myself out there because I'm going to get laughed at. I'm going to feel like a fool. I might get bullied, any of those kinds of things, right? That they interpret the events in a certain way, and then they keep that loop running over and over and over again. Now, a growth mindset is going to say, well, okay, that was me, Johnny, when I was a child, and I didn't know any better, but now I do know better, and I can change things. So those pathways that were created in Johnny's brains can actually be changed. They can be rewired. And that's fantastic, because what that means is it just opens up the whole world to us. Things don't have to be the way they always have been. We can change them. Okay. I love the saying. It was someone, I said this to someone last week and I thought it was hilarious. And they were like, yeah, someone who was staying in a particular situation in, I can't remember what it was to do with, but it was some life business situation. And I think they were in a job they didn't enjoy, but they were just sticking with it. And I said, well, you need to say to this person, you're not a tree, you can move. And that fixed mindset is like being a tree in like it's being stuck in the one place and not moving, not changing things as well. Um, so so we're going to come to Jess and Stephen in a moment, but Chris was saying, I guess you do have to assess what you can do yourself and what you can learn from shadowing consultants and outside outsourced parties. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is one of the things that um, I remember actually being sat next to somebody when I was having these ideas. I'd had this kind of image change to, pink hair and vintage style clothes. And I was loving it, but I was really struggling to find what I wanted to wear. And I kept having these images, which was really strange because I wouldn't even sew on a button at that time. I'd get my husband to do it. And I kept having these weird images in my mind of actually altering clothes or making clothes. I was kind of going, what's it's like so bizarre. And I sat next to this woman at an event who sewed and knitted, and she was talking to her neighbor about it. And I was like, oh, you sewed? I said, oh, I've been. So we were just chatting to her about it. And she said, oh, you should do it. You'll love it. It'll be great. And I said, well, I wouldn't even know where to start. I was kind of in that comfort zone of this is an alien thing, totally not in my identity to do, to do that. And I said, I don't even have a machine. Like, how would I get started? And she said to go and have some lessons. I was like, duh. Of course, I'm a coach. Get someone to show me what to do. So, like Chris says, like there are times when we can just read a book and implement it and actually go and do stuff, or go to a seminar and do stuff, or just kind of do what we know we need to do. And there are other times when we might want to learn from other people. For me, that changed my whole life, that conversation, because I went out to my car and I searched, learned to sew, the town where I live, found somebody, and actually that person, my teacher, has now become a friend of mine as well. So many things have changed as a result of me stepping outside my comfort zone, just about that. And that's, a hobby. Can you imagine the difference it can make in your business when you then do that?
Absolutely. I think the last thing you want to do is live your life full of regrets,
Mm,
and thinking constantly, what if only I'd done that,
yeah.
life's too short, number and the only one of the good things that's come out of the pandemic, if you can say a good thing, is it's forced a lot of people to step outside their comfort zone and take on new challenges that they wouldn't have done. I started a new business in the middle of lockdown. I mean, I never even thought in a million years I'd start my own business. I was kind of forced into it, being made redundant and thinking, what am I actually going to do? But now I wouldn't have it any other way. I love
Yeah.
it. It's catapulted me into a place where, there's times when I'm really outside my comfort zone, but with the help and support of people around me, such as yourself and family, I've been able to get comfortable being there, and then you push yourself. It's great for mental health more than
Mm,
anything else, because
yes.
there are other people. Then if they see that you're doing it, then they're more than likely going to want to try it themselves, rather than thinking, I can't do that's not for me. When they see normal people like us, everyday people doing it, it gives them a bit of a push as well. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, you know, really. So
Well, that's very true. That's very true. What do you think, Jess?
I'm thinking what keeps coming back in my head is why don't we want to step into that comfort zone? And a lot of the time it is that fear of failing, that unknown, that fear of failing. And you're never going to fail, ever. Nothing is ever going to fail, no matter what happens, because you're always going to learn from it. It's always going to guide you to something else. It's like that butterfly effect, isn't it? On the sliding doors. That's the film, isn't it? I've not watched that one. But
great
yeah,
movie.
that effect where no matter what happens, something good is coming off the back of it. Or, I don't know if you believe in fate as well, things are guiding you through a certain path for a certain reason. So yeah, failure isn't even a thing, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's quite interesting actually. I remember the day that I got rid of using the mindset tools that I have my clients work with. I remember the day I got rid of my fear of failure, and immediately, boom, up popped fear of success. And it's just kind of like two sides of the same coin, really. It's all fear, and we have to remember that the kind of prehistoric parts of our brain, the limbic system, is operating from that monkey brain, you know, the chimp effect kind of thing. And it's really all designed to protect us, but quite often what has protected us in the past is actually not protecting us anymore. And that's why that growth mindset is so important. And we need to actually be able to push through that. And with the right help, it can be less painful. I wouldn't say zero pain. Like there is uncomfortableness for sure in that, but you can accelerate that growth process and really expand your comfort zone. I mean, when I think back to the days before I even knew that, you know, personal development was a thing, and I was so full of fear. I was so consumed with what other people thought of me, caring way too much about what other people thought. I was such a people pleaser. You know, I would twist myself in knots trying to figure out who did people want me to be and making myself into that. Oh my God, so it's exhausting, so stressful. So actually the process of learning how to expand your comfort zone step by step and make positive changes in your life, in your business, I think it's easier than staying with the status quo. I think it's a myth that if you avoid change, it makes your life easier. I don't think it does. I think it certainly makes it a lot less full, a lot less fulfilling. And you know, there's no way you're going to achieve the kind of financial and time freedom that most business owners want if they don't do it.
You know, you get a sense of accomplishment as well, don't you? Which
Yeah.
feeds those endorphins. You
Yeah.
know, it's absolutely. I agree with you, 100%.
Mm.
Definitely.
Something that's really helped me over the years with doing it, I can't remember if I read it or heard it. It might have even been from you, Una, as well. So I'll nod along if it was. But that what you said about kind of fear and excitement. So for me, when I'm fearful of something or when I'm scared of something or that next step, I get speechless. My heart's going to a dozen. I'm fidgeting. I've got butterflies. What happens when I'm excited? My heart goes to the dozen. I get fidgety. I've got butterflies. And it is the exact same. So probably what was you, and wasn't it? And that has really stuck with me. It would have been a few years ago you told me that, and that has stuck with me, and that's helped. Even as something as public speaking, I'll think, oh, my stomach will go, and I'll go, oh, I must be really excited to do this. Like how amazing! Like, and then I kind of get into that, and that is something that that has really helped me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like swimming through getting out my comfort zone every day. I'm always like going over hurdles and challenges, but that is just something that that has really stuck and really helped. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Physiologically, what happens in our body with fear and excitement is exactly the same. It's just all, it's what's going on here. It's how we interpret it. I just wanted to share another quote. Actually, this one's by Albert Einstein. A ship is always safe at the shore, but that's not what it's built for. And I think that's the same with us humans. We're built for adventure. You know, we're built to push boundaries. We're built to create and to innovate. And you know, and
Evolve,
even,
isn't
pardon?
it? Evolve. We're built to
Yeah,
evolve.
yes, exactly. And so, you know, that's something that we can embrace it or we can resist it. But resistance is always painful as well as being futile. So so yeah, it's I know I think there's just so much in expanding a comfort zone and why it's important for us to do that. Just a little few tips on how to. I mean, as Stephen said, you know, bit by bit often is more effective long term than huge things. Or at least if you're going to do some big leap outside your comfort zone, make sure you've got the right kind of support and some kind of structure in place to keep that comfort zone expanded. You know, I think that's really, really important. And I've come across, like, I kind of thought, I did a little bit of Googling last night, just to kind of go, let me just see what else is out there. And, you know, because this is something that I'm dealing with all the time, you know, with my clients. And I came across this graph which kind of had comfort zone, then fear zone, and then learning zone, and then growth zone. But I think they have it the wrong way around. I think what they're missing is that when you're in that comfort zone, you actually need to get crystal clear on that last zone they have, the growth one, because that's where they've got meaning, ambitious goals, higher purpose, vision, talent development, self-growth, self-motivation. But actually that needs to be brought right in terms of getting clear on, well, what are those goals? What is going to give more meaning to your life? What's going to help you tap into a higher purpose? What are the specific skills that you need to develop and shifts that you need to make in your mindset? I think when you only get clear on those things, that then helps you to kind of push through that fear zone into the right, I'm now learning how to do this, and then eventually be, yes, my comfort zone is now expanded. And remember, folks, as well, this is not a linear process. Quite often it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of situation. But yeah, so I think getting clarity on, just really get clear, where in my life or business am I in my comfort zone? And occasionally it can be good to consolidate your learning. But if you stay there too long, it becomes a rut, it becomes an excuse for not kind of going further. So get clear your vision, your goals, meaning of those, why those are important to you, the impact that you want to make. This is why my impact driven growth model, we start with impact. What's the impact that you want to create for you and your loved ones in terms of finances, time, how you spend your time, your freedoms, and what's the impact that you're looking to make on an industry or on a pocket of people, or maybe chosen causes and communities, maybe team members and creating employment, whatever those kinds of things. So get clear on that impact, and then you can see, well, yeah, these are the results my business needs to produce in order to create that impact. And then you got to look at yourself. Okay, so what changes do I need to make in order to have a business that produces those results? And make a plan. Okay, make a plan for what it is that you're going to do. So, hey, Nazia, welcome. She's saying clarity is so important. I think it's a starting point. And then, yeah, exactly. Chris is saying all the questions: who, what, who, how, when, and where. Absolutely, make a plan, and look at, do you need some help with doing that? Like, there's a reason I have a team of mindset coaches working with my clients, and that I have sessions with as well. It's to expand that comfort zone. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know. It can be really hard for us to see our own patterns. You two will have heard me say, you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. It's one of my favorite sayings, because I think it just helps people. People sometimes beat themselves up because they don't know why they have certain patterns. Sometimes we don't need to know why. We just need to get rid of them, and just use the best tools that you've access to do that. We've got to make those underlying changes to be able to effectively expand our comfort zone, I think, really. So great. Jess, what's been most kind of significant for you in what we've talked about here today?
I think everything that you were just saying then, in that strategy, in that plan, because we can aimlessly jump into the next thing that's out of our comfort zone. We can like aimlessly go, okay, well, this is a bit daunting, I'll jump into this. Or, oh, this is an opportunity I didn't think of, but it's a rose, I'll jump into that. And it's very easy to follow these steps and then think, oh my God, how did I get here? Did I even want to be here? What's going on? So I think that strategy, that plan, that review. How many times I meet businesses and I go, okay, so when was the last time you reviewed your brand? And they can't say, because they don't know. Okay, well, do you know how to do it? No. So I can give them, like, a workbook or something to feel. So it's simple things. So like you say, with following consultants, following advice, reach out to one of us, reach out to an expert in a certain field that you feel you need to review. They'll have some quick and easy tips to simply review it. So yeah, grounding yourself, creating that plan, creating that strategy, review where you are, and is the thing that's out your comfort zone, is it the right step, or actually is it opened up an idea to do something else? So yeah, I think that what you were talking about over the past 5-10 minutes is a crucial part of it as well. So yeah, I'd like to leave on that.
Great stuff. What about you, Stephen?
Everything that you've said and Jess has said has been great. You know, it's for me. I think if we don't step outside of our comfort zone, we just wallow in complacency. So the fact that there are strategies out there to help you get outside of your comfort zone, we should do it for ourselves, do it for other people, and show that it's not difficult and it's not beyond what we're capable of. I think, you know, take that leap, however big or small it is, take it, because you will feel better for it. It's
Yeah,
great for self-development, great for personal growth, and it's great for mental health as well. We need to challenge.
absolutely.
We need to challenge
Yes.
ourselves. We
Yes,
need to challenge ourselves. Such a
definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Chris is just commenting, you can if the bottle is in front of a reflection. Well, absolutely. Quite often, people like us, we act as a mirror when we're reflecting back to the person, you know, what is actually going on, because sometimes we can, you know, we can have blinkers on. We can be blind to what's going on. All you need to do is think about that person, you know, who has the same bad relationship over and over again and thinks it's going to be different every time. Well, we can be, you know, they're running patterns of, you know, thinking, feeling, behaviors, and they don't even know they're doing it. They don't recognize it. Well, we can have the same things in our businesses where we're running patterns that we don't realize. You know, I'd one of my clients, last in a session last week, and you know, they haven't been spending enough time working on their business instead of in their business, and so they have, you know, they need to make some shifts in that. I suggested a, you know, simple strategy to help them to do it, and you know, they were kind of like because for them it was different to the patterns that they have running, which they have been working on. They recognize, right, yeah, I need to swap things around here. So yeah, Chris is saying, yes, of course, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, thank you, Chris. So and there's just one thing that I want to say before we wrap up, which is occasionally it won't benefit you. Well, let me rephrase this. It can be, let's take the cold calling for an example. So for some people, it might be very out of flow for them to do cold calling. And so I'm not saying if something is out of flow, you should do it just because it's out of your comfort zone. There's always things you can do that are outside your comfort zone. But if you know, if you're clear on what is in and out of flow for you, and when I'm talking about that, that's aligned with your natural strengths and personality. And when you're in flow, you know, you're way more productive, you're having more fun, you know, you get to add a lot more value. Don't waste your time expanding your comfort zone in the wrong direction. Okay. So either choose a different strategy or outsource the strategies that are not in flow for you. So it's not about it's not about kind of, you know, beating yourself up with a stick, making you do something that actually isn't going to be productive in the long term. Now, you might want to do it a few times to get a feel for it and actually to figure out what's the best way to do it or what doesn't work, so you can then brief somebody, or even better, hire someone who knows more than you do about particular strategies or situations to do stuff for you, or if it is the stuff you're going to be doing, to help you to do it better. You can definitely speed up, you can accelerate the pace of your growth, and accelerate your profits by getting the right kind of help, for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to leave on that note because I just thought, oh, I've not really talked about that. So yeah, I think, you know, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Make sure that you've got a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And I'm going to say one other thing, another quote that I've got here, which is that the comfort zone is nothing else but a graveyard for your dreams and ideas. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's move away from that green yard. What is wrong with me today? Move away from that graveyard and look to expand your comfort zones in the right direction to help you and your business grow. Okay, we are going to be here next week, same time, same place. Make sure you have it in your calendar. We will see you then. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.